Hey everyone, happy Thursday. My name's Rochelle. I'm wearing a hat, so it must be time for Hat Chat. I'm so glad you joined us today. Don't forget to share this broadcast with other teachers who want to learn about back to school success. This is our series that we're doing called Back to School Success. We have an awesome guest today. His name is Chad Boender, and he is the male kindergarten teacher. If you follow him, you know that he's a crafty guy, and by that I mean he likes to do crafts. So he's got some things to show you today about back to school and how to be successful. And I just want to say a quick shout out here. On behalf of ESGI, I just want to say we are so happy you guys are going back to school, and we are working so hard as a team, the ESGI team, from the leadership to the development to marketing, social media, and account management. We are here for you, and we are working hard to make sure that you have a successful year with ESGI. So I just wanted to give a shout out to my team. They're doing a great job. They're working overtime. They're really trying to make it so that it's very, very helpful to you, and ESGI is there for you for back to school success. So if you have an experience with ESGI and maybe customer service, put a little chat in the chat there, a little shout out to them. I'm really proud of my team, and I just wanted to say thanks everybody for doing such a great job. All right, now it's time to bring in our friend Chad. He is the male kindergarten teacher. Hi, Chad.
Hi, Rochelle. How are you?
I am great. You look fabulous in your hat. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Most certainly. I'll go closer so you can see it. So this is a police hat. And the reason why I'm wearing a police hat is because when I was in kindergarten, considering I'm a kindergarten teacher, I wanted to be a policeman. And I think it's important that we as teachers let our students decide what they want to be and let them know that it's okay to be more than one thing. If you think about it, obviously I'm not a policeman anymore, or I was never a policeman. But showing them like, hey, I had a dream of being a policeman and now I'm a teacher. But in a way, I kind of am a policeman because my job is to protect my students and ensure that they're safe in my classroom. But I just don't hold the authority as a public figure of a policeman. But
That's great. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. But to get into Hat Chat, you know what you have to do.
A joke.
So tell us a joke appropriate for a 5-year-old, please.
So this joke, I feel like I have a lot of jokes. I like to be silly. I tell my students that if teaching doesn't work out for me, that I feel like I could be a comedian. So I tried to kind of get a knee slapper one here. This is something that you might have to give your students a little bit of context about if they don't really understand what this is that I'm going to talk about. So just a disclaimer there. But my joke today is, what did the ground say to the earthquake?
What did the ground say to the earthquake?
You crack me up.
Well, especially here in California, we get that, but maybe you would have to explain it to your students back there where you live. So that's great. You crack me up. I'm going to use that today at dinner. So thank you.
Sure.
All right. Now, we love having Chad here, and he is our friend, but he's soon to be your friend. So he's going to tell us a little bit about himself, where he teaches, what he teaches, and what he's passionate about. So go ahead, Chad.
Sure. So my name, as Rochelle said, is Chad Boender. I'm a kindergarten teacher in Plainwell, Michigan. So, all up north there, and the weather that we never know what it's going to be. It could be warm, it could be cold one day. You never know. And I am super passionate about teaching and crafting. So I like to basically involve crafts. Of course, sorry, my dog is barking in the background.
We love dogs.
But I like to incorporate crafts as much as I can into all of my lessons. And so today I'm going to be sharing some books and some crafts with you that you can do in the beginning of the school year.
That'll be great. That's something we have in common. I lived in Michigan too. Yes. And you know how Michiganders show where they're from. Show us on your hand, Chad, where you're from in Michigan. You know how they do it. I gotta hold it up. Okay, where are you located in Michigan? Here's the
So
Michigan.
here's Michigan. So I am right here.
There you go. All right, that was good.
I don't know if it's backwards or not, but
Exactly. But then you have to have the Upper Peninsula because there's people that live in the Upper Peninsula. So if you're from Michigan, you know what I'm doing right now. So that's all right. Well, we're so glad. Go get your dog. Bring him in. We want to see him. Yeah, see, this is how it is, guys, live. We know, Jason, we know you're a dog lover, so you don't mind if we bring dogs on. And I've got 2 sleeping by my feet, so if I get a UPS package, you guys are going to hear them too. So
of course he's like running away from me because he thinks it's a game.
Oh, so, no.
Finn, he doesn't like to be away from me, so that's why he was barking.
Oh, what's his name?
Finn.
Oh, so cute. Oh, he loves you.
He's quite the ball of energy, let's put it that way.
Fabulous. Well, you've got lots of back to school tips, like you said, and as I mentioned at the beginning, and you just mentioned again, crafts are a real passion of yours. And I think there's not enough of that a lot of times because we're so focused on, you know, the academics and we want to get everything done. But you've got a way that you weave it all in together, and we just love that. Can you share a little bit about your back to school?
Sure. So I have a couple books here today that I'm going to go over that I use in the beginning of the school year. I try to choose books that really can build relationships with students and also kind of get to know them, and then for them to get to know me and what books that I like to use in my classroom as well. So this is a classic book that I'm sure many of you have heard of. It's called The Kissing Hand. And this is a perfect book to use in the first week of school or the first couple days of school. For those of you that are not familiar with it, basically it's about Chester Raccoon, and this is Chester and his mom. And Chester Raccoon is starting school, and he's really, really scared. So that's a great way to talk to your students. How do you feel on the first day of school? Were you nervous? Were you scared? Were you excited? And really making that connection and letting them know, myself as a teacher, I'm nervous too, and I'm scared because I'm learning all your names and I'm learning your parents, and that's nerve-wracking too. So basically it's about Chester who's scared, and his mom teaches him a trick. And this is a trick that you can also create a craft with your students for them to bring home and for the parents to create as well. But what it's called the kissing hand. So the mom teaches the Chester the raccoon to open up his hand, and she kisses in the center of his hand right here. And she said, whenever you feel lonely or scared, you can kiss the hand or hold it up to your cheek, and that kiss will rush all the way through your body to your heart. So the craft that I have is, this is just a die cut that I use. So if you don't want to have the kids trace their hands, you can usually find a die cut probably in your office or workroom, or you can have your kids trace their hands and cut them out. But what you're going to do is you're going to have them trace their hand and cut it out. And then I just purchased these heart stickers on Oriental Trading Company, and you'll just have them put it right in the center of the hand. And then the kids can put their hand at home on the fridge. So when mom or dad get scared or they're worried about their young one, they can look at the hand and remember their child throughout the day. And then also the parents will make a hand, and they can have, you can have the kids put their hand either in their locker or by their cubbies or whatever you have at your school, and they can go to it if they get nervous or scared throughout the day as well. So
awesome.
that's the first book that I have. The second book that I have is honestly probably one of my favorite books to read in the beginning of the year. It's just called The OK Book. And we have a lot of students that come into school with various levels, some of them knowing all their letters, some of them maybe not knowing any of their letters. And sometimes school for kids can be very nerve-wracking, and it can be scary too, because they just feel like they're not good at anything. Or how many times do we say, you know, can you read this? And they're like, oh, I can't read it. And then you just say, well, you can't read it yet. And explaining to them, even if they get frustrated with when they're reading or writing, that it's okay because I make mistakes too, but we're going to learn from those mistakes. So this book just talks about that, for instance, like I'm just an okay skipper, or I'm an okay climber. So it just takes the reader and your students through different scenarios of just saying, I'm an okay right fielder when playing ball. or I'm an okay diver. And what I love about this book is at the end, it says, one day I'll grow up to be really excellent at something. I don't know what it is yet, but I sure am having fun figuring it out. So just letting your students know that it's okay just to be okay at something right now, and that it's going to take time and patience and practice. But if you keep on persevering, then you're going to actually overcome those challenges and you're going to be excellent at something. So really a confidence booster, and really a way to, let your students know that it's okay just to be okay and make mistakes. Now,
I love that.
I'm the type of teacher that loves books that are kind of funny and comical. One book that I didn't bring today, but that I absolutely love, is the book with no pictures, because it's a silly book, it's a funny book, and it gets your kids laughing. And this book kind of reminds me of it as well. It's called Hello Hot Dog. And this book takes you through the journey of Hot Dog here. He's just sitting on this comfy bread next to some French fries, and so a corn on the cob, and all of a sudden somebody says, "Uh-oh, Hot Dog, watch out." And the problem is Hot Dog finally realizes that he's going to be lunch. So what Hot Dog does in here is he formulates his plan. So here he's formulating his plan. He's going to do a triple backflip and everything like that. And they realize, ooh, that sounds way too complicated. So he says, well, why don't you just run? Hot Dog says, well, I don't have any legs. So Hot Dog decides, but I can roll. And he rolls right off the hot dog bun and flies down onto the ground. And he meets another friend. And that friend is a dog. You can see the dog's snout there and his tongue. And I think Dog is hungry because he says, hello, Hot Dog. But then he says, bye-bye, Dog. And he says, mustard, yuck. So the moral of the story for your kids is don't ever eat mustard, kids.
I love it.
And then this book that I have here is another really silly book. It's basically a conversation between two monkeys, and the title of it is just Banana. And the reason why it's banana is because the word that's only really throughout the book is banana. But the big thing that you can focus on with your students in the beginning of the year is the importance of end punctuation and how you need to say each sentence based on end punctuation. So in this one here, you want to say, oh, well, that's an exclamation point. So I'm going to say it in an excited voice. So banana. But then the next page, the other monkey says, banana. So focusing on the question mark, and it basically takes you through the whole entire book, and they end up getting into a fight. And then towards the end of the book, they decide to share the banana. So you can talk about the importance of sharing and also the importance of end punctuation when you're reading and how you want to read with expression and raise your voice when you get to a question mark.
Yeah,
now the last book,
good oral language, right?
Yes, yes. The last book that I have, this is a newer book, I believe, but this is a great writing activity that you could do with your students to model writing. And then as they progress throughout the year, you could come back to this story and actually have them write about this book independently, basically by themselves. So it's called What Would Danny Do? It's a really good character building book. So basically it gives the reader two choices and they get to make the story up. So there's 9 different stories in this book. When I show you this page, it will kind of make more sense. So on each page, there's something different. So if you see this green arrow here, it says, turn to the next page. If you get to this blue question mark here, you have to make a choice on where you want the story to go. So it gives you 2 choices and you get to choose one, and then it will tell you what page you need to turn to continue the story, depending on your choice. So obviously, if you chose something, that was not so, if you chose something that was not very nice, it's obviously not going to have a good ending, but your students are going to learn something from it. And then where you see the stop sign, it will tell you where you're at in each story. So it will say that's the end of story 1 or 2 or 3, all the way up to 9. And so it just gives different stories. So for instance, on one of them in here, Danny is doing a lemonade stand. And what happens is this girl comes running to the lemonade stand because she really wants some lemonade, but she trips and falls. And so it will ask you, what do you think Danny should do? How should he react? Should he yell at the girl and get really upset with her? Or should he help her up and give her some lemonade? And obviously the students can make the choice, and you can talk about, well, what would be the nice thing to do, or what would be the kind thing to do, really talking and using about speaking with good purpose and things like that. So this is a really fun book. And then, like I said, you can revisit it at the end of the year and really focus on, okay, now you are going to be the author and you're going to write your own story based on one of these. How would you end the story? And really get them thinking about that. So I absolutely love this book.
That reminds me of Choose Your Own Adventure. Did you have those as a kid? Would you read the books Choose Your Own Adventure? It was pretty fun. It's very similar to that.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm a lot older than you, Chad. That's probably old. But speaking of books, Yolanda here says that she is so happy that you talked about books at the I Teach K conference, and now it's part of her own library, and she can't wait to share it. So that just reminds me, Chad, you're around doing presentations. You want to talk about where you go and how people can see you as a presenter?
Sure. So I was just at the I Teach K conference in Las Vegas, and Yolanda actually I had the privilege of her coming to one of my sessions and seeing everybody and learning from them as well. But I will be in a couple places coming up in 2019. So on January 29th of 2019, I'll be at the Wisconsin Kindergarten Conference. That's in Brookfield, Wisconsin. And then I will be in South Carolina at the South Carolina Pre-K and K Conference, and that's March 11 through 12 in 2019, and that's in Columbia, South Carolina. So those are the two right now that I have scheduled, but I'm really, really excited. Some of the books that you saw that I spoke about here, I go in more depth about how you can use them in your classroom, as well as a lot of other books. Other sessions that I have include classroom assessment and student ownership. So a lot of what are on our teacher evaluations right now are students really taking ownership of their learning. And so I provide teachers with ways that they can allow their students to really, take ownership of their learning and show how they can look at their growth and see how they're progressing throughout the year. And I have some other sessions that I'm currently working on that will be brand new to those two places. So I'm excited to really compile all that together and speak on those areas as well. So
great, we're excited to hear that. And I bet you talk about how to use some of the ESGI data when those kids are tracking and talking about their growth. I bet you do.
I do. Yes, I do.
And Chad has been a friend of ESGI for a long time, and he definitely talks about ESGI, and uses it in his classroom. And now's the perfect time to try ESGI if you haven't started it already, because we have a brand new product, you guys, called Dazzle. If you haven't tried it yet, it's great, and it's going to help you make all those labels and all the name. You label everything in the classroom, don't you, Chad? When you're a kindergarten teacher. And so you've got cubby labels, you've got name charts, everything, right?
This tool saves so much time, and it saves the hand cramps from writing your names over and over and over again. It's awesome.
That's so great. Now you can try a 60-day free trial, and if you use promo code MKTeacher, you can get $40 off your first year. So go ahead and try ESGI now, promo code MKTeacher, and get started, because you're going to love it. All right, Chad, you've been a kindergarten teacher for quite a while, right?
Yes.
I'm going to give you a little test, because I found this 7 signs that you are a kindergarten teacher. I found it on the Kindergarten Connection. So Kindergarten Connection came up with the 7 signs that you are a kindergarten teacher. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You could just agree or disagree, but I kind of have a feeling I know the answer. Okay, sign number 1, you're a kindergarten teacher. You buy 150 plastic folders or composition books or binders or, something, because they are on super sale and your kids will need them. Even bonus, you find them with primary lines on them.
Ooh, yes, definitely agree.
Yes,
You
I
can never
agree.
have enough of any of your school supplies. So when it's on sale, you stock up for years and years.
That is true. Now, has this ever happened to you? It's happened to me. You get into the line for the checkout and the checker says, "Oh, you must be a teacher."
Yes,
Yeah,
all the time.
all the time. Even now, and I'm not a teacher, but I must just stock up on stuff a lot and people will say that to me, or I have the look maybe of the teacher. Okay, sign number two. You will not let anything go to waste that could be used in your classroom, like throw away a Scrabble game. No, any of those letters can be used for a spelling tile game.
Yes, agree.
What is the craziest thing you've ever saved from the trash?
Oh my goodness. I probably save everything. So even if it's like a container, like a food container, like when when I go over to my parents' house for dinner or something like that, and they would, get rid of a container and throw it away, like, oh no, 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 I need that. There's something I can use it for. I don't know what it is right now, but at some point I will use that for something.
Have you ever reached out to your friends and said, like, give me all your toilet paper rolls and
Oh
collect
yes.
them? Yeah,
Oh
your friends
yes.
get used to that, huh? All right, sign number three. You keep Post-it in business. You have sticky note flags, notebooks, large notebooks, and even a giant Post-it note chart.
You can never have enough post-it notes. Agree.
I agree too.
They need to be of all different colors too.
There you go. I know. I hate it when they run out of the sticky though. I don't know. For
Yeah.
me, I don't know what happens, but okay, number four. This is me to the 10th degree. You have marker stains on your hands because you tell kids not to use their hands on the dry erase board, but you do it anyway.
So true. And then somehow it ends up on your clothes too when you least expect it, and then you can't get it off. So that's a teacher problem for sure.
That's not just a kindergarten problem. That's a teacher problem. Oh, this is totally me too. Number five, you take home giant bags of schoolwork to work on, and they often sit at home and then travel back with you to school, sometimes untouched.
Yes, agree. It's lucky even if it makes it out of the back seat of my car. Let's put it that way.
Me too. But with ESGI, you don't have those data notebooks that you have to haul back and forth from school. Like in the old days with me, I had to haul back and forth. You just go on your computer now and you got all your data. So that's one less thing you have to take.
Yes.
All right. You can decode writing that is practically hieroglyphics.
Yes, totally agree.
That one's so funny too.
I'm ready for a challenge if someone wants to send me a challenging one.
Yeah, send Chad an email. He can decide. Well, that won't make sense. That it'll have to be a picture of something.
Right?
Yeah. Right. Okay. Last one. You can turn anything into a song, whether you sing it or not. Time to come to the carpet? There's a song for that. Time to line up, wash your hands, clean up? Yeah, there's songs for that too. Sometimes you even sing them at home while you're doing dishes because they won't leave your mind.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
What's your favorite one? Have you ever made up a song, or is there anyone that just sticks in your head?
Well, when I was in Vegas, I did a presentation on reading, writing, and scaffolding. And so I talked about the importance of teaching your students about Spaceman. And I used the song Bingo and made a song about the importance of using a spaceman. But you're gonna have to come to my presentations to hear that because I'm not gonna be singing on here today.
So you're talking about a space man, like to make a space between words?
Correct. Yeah, I guess I should have elaborated a little bit more.
Well, it could have been anything. It could have been a rocket ship. That's what I was picturing. But then I thought, no, he really means spaces between words. So that's awesome. Well, good. I am so glad that you came and joined us today. And I sure hope people follow you on the Male Kindergarten Teacher. It's just Male Kindergarten Teacher, no the, right?
Just Male Kindergarten Teacher. Yep, you're right.
And we put it in the comments too, so people can link to it. And don't forget to try ESGI if you haven't already. Now's the perfect time with Dazzle. You're going to love it. Sign up with promo code MKTeacher so that you can get $40 off your first year. All right, Chad, I hope you have a wonderful start of school. It hasn't happened yet, right?
Not yet, not till after Labor Day. But I'm in there every single day, so it still feels like I'm at school.
Yeah, that's true. I bet. But good luck, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thank you.